Drone footage provides us with a fresh perspective on the world. Not long ago, the average person lacked the ability to observe life from above. But thanks to these bad boys, we get a relatively inexpensive and easily accessible bird's-eye view. Just hop onto YouTube and you'll find it brimming with breathtaking aerial footage of landscapes and other drone eye candy. But you'll also find some pretty strange things out there caught by these drones. So I went ahead and did you the favor of combing through the internet's massive library of drone videos to bring you some of the scariest drone footage out there. From killer clowns in unexpected places, close encounters of the reptilian kind, and an encounter with the veracious forms nature can take. Hey, truth be told, some of these videos might be fake, but at the same time, they certainly scared the socks off of me. So buyer beware. Because if you don't have the testicular fortitude to watch this video until the end, you might as well leave now. Because this is not one for the faint of heart. Kill Circle. Nature is terrifying and brutal, with the strong routinely preying on the weak without any regard. One of nature's apex predators, and the star of a couple horror flicks, is none other than the majestic crocodile. In the currents of Kenya's Mara River, these jaw-snapping crocodiles are a sure recipe for mass murder if you get unlucky at river crossings. The Mara River is filled with the viscera from the many carcasses these crocodiles call their daily bread. If you find yourself on the business end of these crocodiles, don't worry, they won't just tear you to pieces. As you can see, they've learned to cooperate rather admirably while eating their prey, forming a nice circle and making sure none of you will go to waste. Now, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't even want a front row seat to watch these crocodiles get to work. I simply couldn't stomach it. So I'm gonna thank the internet for this one. Cornfield Clown. Who doesn't love a good killer clown? Nobody? Good. Nonetheless, murder clowns are a part of our culture now, and there's nothing we can do about it. Not even the trend of killer clowns and psychos could make them go away forever. Clowns might be pretty freaky on their own, but nothing raises the hair on the back of your neck faster than the sight of a clown somewhere it absolutely has no business being. I mean, no one ever said, what this cornfield needs is a really freaky clown to just stand around for no real reason whatsoever. But here we have it. A YouTuber, Golden Hour, wanting to get aerial shots for Instagram, was flying over a large cornfield when he noticed something bright orange. Instead of immediately noping out of there like I would, he decides to get a better look. And as we all know, scarecrows don't usually move, right? This right here is quite literally the stuff of horror movies and nightmares. Now I'll never feel comfortable taking a nice, calm stroll through a cornfield. The clown getting alerted by the drone's presence and bolting into the woods really makes you wonder what he was up to down there in the first place. You know what? Never mind. I don't want to know. I would like to go to sleep tonight. Who knows? This whole thing might just be all planned, a ruse, a setup. The clown could simply be a friend of the drone operator. But tell me this, why did it have to be a clown? Couldn't have been someone dressed as a mime? Setup or not, I'm still pretty scared. You're not gonna find me within several square miles of any cornfield anytime soon. A tsunami's aftermath. A 7.5 magnitude earthquake struck on the Indonesian island of Sulawesi on September 28, 2018. While the earthquake caused only minor damage, it did cause what was initially assumed to be a minor tsunami. Eventually, investigators would discover that in Palu, the capital of the central Sulawesi region, waves reached 20 feet, more than doubling the initial estimates. Because central Sulawesi is located on a very long and narrow bay, the tsunami swept across the land and dragged loads of wreckage directly into the ocean on the other side of the bay. The earth became extremely wet as well, resulting in major mudslides that only contributed to the devastation. Drone footage of the city began to emerge just days after the natural disaster. When you look down from above, you can get a sense of the magnitude of what happened, and you really get the sense that nature doesn't play around. Bridges collapsed, buildings were reduced to rubble, and some sections were still submerged. And then there are the unfortunate residents of Palu. Over 4,300 people were killed in total by the tsunami, which was one of the worst to hit Indonesia in more than a decade. Imagine that. More than 4,000 people were lost in a single event by a tsunami. The scary part is that this isn't even the worst nature could throw at us. A real Bigfoot sighting? From the terrifying splendor of the natural world to supernatural sightings, drones can capture pretty much anything, even things people don't believe in. On January 12th, a resident of Ohio discovered what he believes to be Bigfoot or Sasquatch in Salt Fork State Park. The figure certainly looked a lot like Bigfoot, a hairy, upright-walking, ape-like creature that lives in the wilderness and left footprints. These figures are often interpreted as being the missing link between humans and their predecessors. Scientists will disagree, though, dismissing the evidence of Bigfoot as a combination of legend, misidentification, and a hoax. Since the mid-1980s, the famous ape-like monster, a purported inhabitant of Ohio since the Revolutionary War, has been observed about 40 times in the park. Whatever you want to call it, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, Grassman from Ohio, locals seem to have spotted a big, hairy manimal towering at 6 to 8 feet tall on average, with footprints ranging in length from 13 to 17 inches. It is also said to live in Ohio's largest state park, Salt Fork State Park. Since the mid-1980s, authorities have received reports of over 36 encounters. With so much supposed proof surrounding these sightings, I certainly can't come to a decision whether this one has simply been faked or if Bigfoot is really haunting the shadows. Although, to be fair, this isn't exactly the clearest or most definitive footage. Is this really Bigfoot, or just some misguided hiker? Black-eyed kids. Since the beginning of time, man has been intrigued, fascinated, if not obsessed, with the supernatural and mysteries of the supernatural realm. One of these supernatural figures, believed to be from the great beyond, has been sighted walking the woods at Cannock Chase, eerily similar to other accounts of black-eyed children visiting the site over the years. This footage was inadvertently caught by a YouTuber named Furious Otter, who captured footage of the figure while flying his craft over the woods. The video has since gone quite viral on the internet. The sighting of what appears to be a person dressed in a light-colored outfit has paranormal enthusiasts speculating if it is the apparition of the scary, black-eyed youngster that has captivated them for decades. Cannock Chase is rumored to be one of the many haunted places that litter the United States, with legends of black-eyed children roaming the woods. Apparent video evidence has been quite thrilling, if anything. Whether a hoax or not, the person or thing captured by the drone's camera can clearly be seen walking at the edge of the woods near the field. The figure comes to a complete stop as the lens zooms in on them, appearing to cover their face in the undergrowth. Creepy stuff. Locals who believe in the ghostly form describe the black-eyed child as having charcoal eye sockets and being the victim of diphtheria, a deadly plague that wiped out scores of people in the Victorian era. Diphtheria was known for causing victims to suffer paralysis in their eyes, making their sockets appear sunken. This scary little child has apparently spooked visitors for the last 30 years. The Charlottesville attack. It turns out nature and ghosts aren't the only things that are scary. People can be quite terrifying as well. Even though this footage shows only a distorted view of the attack, it's still graphic and shocking what people are capable of. We can see what appears to be an apparent neo-Nazi and white supremacist commit first-degree murder on camera. On August 12, 2017, a large group of protesters and counter-protesters would clash over severely opposing viewpoints. On one side were the mostly neo-Nazis, and the other side, the not neo-Nazis. The clash occurred in response to plans to demolish a statue of Robert E. Lee in Lee Park, since renamed Market Street Park. That afternoon, an alleged neo-Nazi and white supremacist named James Alex Fields Jr. drove his car into a crowd of protesters, injuring 30 people and killing one person, Heather Heyer. The harrowing event, which was witnessed by hundreds of people, was also filmed from various angles, including the drone camera footage you're looking at right now. Watching people scatter to get out of the way absolutely makes my blood run cold. I've never been deliberately run over by a car, and I can only imagine how terrifying that is. Fields was convicted of first-degree murder, among other charges, and sentenced to life in prison. And there we go, some of the scariest drone footage out there. Which one scared you the most? And if you have any more scary drone footage, please, don't link it in the comments. I like to sleep at night,